What is going?
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not good.
No, what happened?
So about 25 minutes ago, Macy's emailed me that I guess they ran out of air structures that I had ordered from them. So it's like I took a delayed L. You know,
Dang.
I'm um I'm a little
Hurt?
yeah,
That hurts.
I still have my '08 pair. They're actually on the table in there. I did a YouTube video on them. Just one shoe is crumbling. So that makes it even worse. So yeah.
That's wild. I didn't
So
even know Macy's. So it's in the colors of black and like teal, white, gray, pink. That one.
yeah.
I didn't even know they got them.
Yeah. Well, let me say shout outs to everybody joining. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Right.
Yeah. So one of my really good friends I used to work with about 20 years ago, he sent me the link like, hey, I know you missed them. They had them. And I sent the link to like other people that wanted them and they were able to get theirs. Even though I ordered mine first, I wasn't able to get them. So that's why I'm a little hurt. But, I'm glad to see you and I'm glad to be doing this show with you.
Yeah, they're gonna restock. They're gonna restock. I feel like Nike's been doing this thing where they do these fake sellouts, and then they just keep restocking them. Somebody's gonna restock them.
Yeah. Well,
Champs might restock them.
I hope so.
I
So,
hope so too.
yeah. Well, um, again, it's good to have you aboard. I haven't, I only got to meet you once. You know what I'm saying? That was years at X back in the day when I still lived in Cleveland. So,
No, that wasn't me.
are you? I thought we followed each other from there.
No, I don't know how I followed you. I just,
I
I
thought
just,
you never been to Cleveland.
no, I've never been to
Really?
Cleveland. Never been to Cleveland.
I need to edit this out. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's all good. But you know what? I bought shoes from you.
Was it a phone order or something?
Yeah, I think so. I
No, I
you were
sold you the.
working at what, Next Coventry? Is that
Yeah,
is that it?
yeah.
I think I called in. I called in for these. These right here. I still got the box and everything with the
Oh yeah. That's
I
my
called in
favorite.
for these.
Yeah.
And I was the way you are about these air instructions, that's how I was about these up tempos. I was panicked. And then you said, oh, we got like a size 8 left. And I called in. I was like, yo, do you ship? I need these.
Okay. Okay. I knew we had some sort of business before at my old job. I knew. I thought you had came in. I'm sorry.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
checking. The Macy's link didn't work anymore. Dang. Okay.
No, but yeah, but let's get into it. We'll
All
tell
right.
everybody from and we'll start with
Okay.
who you are.
So I'm from the DMV. I was born in DC. I live in Baltimore now. I feel like everybody lives in Baltimore, PG County now. Uh, about me, how
Prince,
did I get into? Huh? What'd you say?
Prince George's County. You talking about there?
Yeah, PG County, First Georges County.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Um, but yeah, I'm in Baltimore now. Gosh, what got me into this? Sneakers. I've been into sneakers for a minute. Like, I feel like I listened to one of your lives and you mentioned that, was it the infrared sixes? Those are the ones you wanted, like in fourth grade.
Yeah, that's when I started. Yeah, yeah,
So for me, it was fourth grade. That was like '96, and I know I'm dating myself, but that right there, I think is when I first noticed like a pair of sneakers, and I was like, I want those. I want those. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
really excited to be having this conversation. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh no, I'll be fine too. I mean, I'm really hurt by this L, but I was like, nah, I gotta. My wife even was like, she was the one that bought them for me. She's the one that had to tell me that that it happened. I know she didn't want to tell me because
Dang.
I really wanted them, but I'm excited to talk to you again. I'm a fan of your collection. I don't mean to gush, but I mean you got everything, man. You got
That means so much. I mean, I used to have everything. I used to have everything. I've let a lot of pairs go, but yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of your collection. I remember when I like your range. I like your range. I like the fact that you like all brands and that you wear your pairs. You wear them.
yeah.
Like you ain't afraid to wear them.
Well, I feel the same way about you. So what was the shoe? Was it the up tempo? Was that the shoe that kind of started it? The
Yeah, two shoes. These up tempos that I bought from you right
Ah,
here. These are it. I remember the guy's name. It was a kid. His name is Michael Buchanan. And he had these on at recess. And I was like, oh my God, I want these. They're gaudy. They got air on the side. I want them. I want them. So that's the one. This is the one. And the other one for me, which I'm kind of salty about this year because they released this year again. And I didn't think they would sell out because they didn't sell out all the previous years. But the Griffies, the Air Max Griffey 1, this right here, I wanted these so bad. And my mother was so cheap. She went to Payless and tried to buy me a pair of these. Because you know when Payless was making like the exact replicas?
yeah.
So I told her, I do not want those. Please do not set me up. So she bought them for herself. No, actually, I accepted these. It was the Space Jams that she got from Payless that I refused to wear. I bought these. I was like, I'll wear those. But these right here, and the sad thing about this is like my feet have grown or whatever it is. So I wear like an 8.5, 9 now in men's, and these are an 8. So I can't even wear them. So I wanted a new pair. So I have like my '09 pair. I wanted a new pair, and I don't know what's going on with sneakers lately. I you know, I'm used to being able to anticipate what's going to sell out. I thought people would leave these alone, and they didn't. They did not leave them alone.
Nah, what's crazy is like that's the pair I wear too, my '09 pair.
I'm gonna
I did
squeeze into them.
2016 and I marked them down several times at Next Coventry. Like I think I had them as cheap as
Those are
maybe
89.
$80 maybe before I finally had a reseller come in and just buy them all. You know what I mean? Like it was not it in 2016. And you figure for us being in the shoot 5 years, that ain't nothing.
That isn't. I'm used to it being like every 10 years. Like, like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can. I've got shoes that I bought in 2016 that I haven't even worn yet. Like that's no time. That's like
right.
you know. But I don't know. I mean, them putting Nike retros on sneakers and giving them actual dates instead of the regular placeholder dates. It'd be like
Right.
April 1st, but they might come out. We might get them in March, like that
Right.
September.
Mm-hmm.
The black and white one, there were 3 dates for them in 2016. They kept changing it because I got them 3 different times. I got them in March, I got them in April, and then I got some more in like May. You know what I mean? 3 different shipments. But
Mm-hmm.
Nike retros aren't supposed to have no release date. That's not a Jordan or a Foamposite.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't like the way it is, and these structures, the debacle with the structures, just is a painful reminder of how different sneakers are, because they were hard to get in 2008, but that was because they
I
didn't come out. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They
I
came out.
remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm cutting you off. No, I'm like, no, I remember. I remember wanting them like after the fact because I got really heavy into sneakers once I got my first job, kind of like after 2008. Like I was at the outlet still in 2008. So like around like 2010, that's when I got my first real job and I really started like buying sneakers. And I remember looking for them and they were on eBay and the price was more than I was willing to spend at the time. So, but I didn't see the hype. I couldn't foresee the hype for them this time.
Yeah, because I mean, all right, I do feel like ever since that weird Hirachi hype that kind of morphed into Air Max 97 hype,
Right.
like 15 to present, I thought it had kind of died down because everybody's on dunks now. Everything
Right.
sells out. Like, nobody's gonna care about the structures, and they should come out in stores because you remember the Air Max 90 infrared came out in stores. They sold out online, but they were just sitting in stores. So I'm figuring that's gonna be the same thing here.
Right. They didn't even sell it online. They kept restocking them. They restocked them like 3, 4 times. Like
Yeah,
Nike just did a restock of them like last week.
yeah.
And I was shocked because like I remember when they came out in what year was it? I know 2010 when the infrareds retro. And I think it was 2010. They like sold out. And then they retroed them again. Like they've been retroed like probably in the last 10 years at least 3 times.
Yeah, because like my '05 pair from the History of Air Pack is still wearable. Like that's the pair I wear.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, my '97, my silver bullets from that pack. I do the little hair dryer trick where it'll
Clear up
bubble,
the air bubble.
but I look at the side of that midsole. I'm like, it's probably the last time. But it's like that 90 is still holding true, but I also had a pair from 2012 that they made look old on purpose. The OG pack.
Right, the vintage, that vintage pack. Yeah.
They're like two different, even though it's the same shoe, they're like two different shoes.
Okay.
The way they fit, the way they're cut, it's two different.
Hmm.
And I couldn't sell them that well. I didn't sell them that well on Coventry in 15. Like the 95s went, but the 90s I had for like 3 or 4 months before I sold out of them.
You know why those 90s didn't sell? Like the not the vintage ones, because I like those. The other ones, because the vintage ones, those were the 2012, right? Were they
Mm-hmm.
2012? And then they came out like 2015, like with another pair. But I don't think it had the pink behind the tongue, the infrared behind the tongue. I know that's why I didn't want them. One of
Yeah,
those releases didn't have the infrared behind the tongue, and I thought it was weird.
yeah, and to me, this last time, them coming out with all those colors before the actual infrareds, it was neat, but I felt like they did a few too many of them.
They they did, and then also the new shape, which is, or I don't know if it's new. I think it's supposed to be OG, but then it's kind of
Yeah,
floppy. Yeah, I think, and then they started going on sale. So by the time the OGs, and then they didn't name the OGs infrared. They named them Siren Red or something like that. Like it's like a different
yeah,
red, and
yeah,
it confused me because I'm like, are they? Are they the same shoe? Or like, why did you change the name of the colorway? That's throwing me off.
yeah. They call them the Air Max 3. They haven't done that since it came out, which I know they're trying to recreate, but you got to educate people better. You got to do better with storytelling, you know?
Right. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are doing. You're confusing me, so I'm just gonna pass. I'm just gonna pass. You'll release them in 3 more years.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. It'll
yeah.
be fine.
Now, um, with the infrared, well, not with the infrared, with the more up tempo being your shoe, that kind of got you into it. How do you feel about them bringing out all these colors and kind of whoring them out? Like they've really whored that shoe out for like the past 5 years since 16.
Yeah. And at first I was like, yeah, more colorways. And then I was like, no, I just need this one pair. Some colorways are okay. Like at first they were doing okay, and then afterwards they really just started they just didn't care. They're throwing camo, satin, like I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, but I understand. I understand, they want to get brand awareness. They want the model awareness. They're everywhere. Everybody knows what they are. So then when they do retro them, then people are like, yeah, I remember those from my childhood. I had that ugly colorway. Let me get these. Um, yeah, they've really done a disservice to this model. They really did. I thought that House of Hoops pair, the one that looked like a sunset or whatever, that I wanted only because I didn't have these. I didn't have these at that time.
Oh,
And I was just willing to, I think that's what it is. Yeah, like it's like purple and it had like trees or something. And I was like, oh, I want those, but I really don't. I just want the shoe. And then they finally retro this colorway. So
all right.
I mean, I can't control what Nike does. Nike just that's what they do. Do what you do. Make ugly colorways. I don't know why your colorways are so ugly. We have so many like people are into sneakers who they hit up Nike ID and they make amazing things. Why don't you hire them? I feel like they make things ugly on purpose, and I don't understand.
I'm also going to say this, and I don't mean to offend anyone saying this, but I really feel like they make certain shoes and colorways of certain shoes specifically for the hood.
Oh,
I
I
feel
agree.
like
I feel that. That makes sense.
they do it with the up tempo, any up tempo, the max up tempo, the more up tempo, the Air up tempo 3. Well, now they call it the Air Max up tempo 97. Any
Jeez.
the Griffies, the Dion's,
They
certain
did
for the hood.
the Dion's definitely for the hood.
Jordan's 9 through 13, 80% of them be for the hood if it's not
Oh
OG.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, especially the 13s. Oh, what they've done to the 13s. I
I'm looking at people's comments. How's it? Hi, welcome.
no, that's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Like when I was working for DTLR back when it was still called Villa, managing for them, like we just got some of the craziest Griffey colorways. I'm like, look, if I didn't work here and know that this was a real Nike account, I wouldn't even believe it was real.
They were doing okay in the beginning.
In the
When they in the beginning, They did all right. Like
After,
they had the reflective ones. I like those. I like those. The all silver ones. Those were nice.
mm,
And then they did like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a Space Jam colorway, and that's when they started popping up at Ross. And I was like, yeah, they're gone. They're done.
after
They're done.
2007, really after that Cincinnati Reds one, it was all.
Ah, those are the ones that got away.
Uh, see,
Those are the ones that got away.
is that the now that was gonna be my next question. What's the shoe that got away for you? Because I have several, but
That one for sure. That one just I don't even know why they got away from me. The Air Max Nomo, those got away from me. What else got away? Like I feel like there's so the Jumpman Pro. The Jumpman Pro got away from me. I know.
color.
Those should I see I was doing this thing where I was watching it. I'm like, I know I can get these for $45.
Yes.
I know I can get these from the outlet. And then I forgot to buy them. I forgot.
Hey, there'd be so much coming out, you forget. But like when I was managing for Hibbett, it was like that. We had the Eddie Jones color of the Jumpman Pro, the white, black, and gold one. And I was like, man, even with my discount, like I can't pay no $100 for these shoes. I'm only gonna wear them once a year. Like
Right,
these need to be $50, $59.99 on sale, and I
right.
out on top. Like it's certain shoes, like I can't. I know what they are, and I know they're not gonna sell. But what happens, especially with the trainers,
Hmm.
they go into what I call the sneaker vortex. So
Okay.
if you think about it, it really is trainers. The only thing it really doesn't affect is Jordans. But with certain trainers, it's like they'll come out OG colorways and
Hmm.
they'll come out with a few others. The OG colorways will go on sale because nobody cares or nobody remembers.
Hmm.
Disappear like they never came out. They aren't on eBay. They aren't on Poshmark. They aren't on Macari.
People
They're just,
beat them.
and if you
Hmm.
do find somebody with them, they know what they are and they're trying to charge $300 for them.
Hmm.
That's just
Absolutely.
like the Nomos, the blue ones and the white, blue, and red, the two OG colors. Whenever I see them in my size, 11 through 12, they'd be $300. Or
Hmm.
either they fuck up.
You know what shoe got away from me? That hurt my heart. That you have. That you are always posted. The Air Carnivore. They
Oh
got away from me. Those 29.99 outlet specials got away from me.
yeah, I'll say the Carnivore was my grail. It's the most I ever paid for a shoe. I knew a guy in Cleveland that had an original pair, and I still have that pair. I paid him $300 for him in 2006. So when they retroed in 2010
Oh,
and they went on sale,
all the way down.
crazy man. I saw them for as cheap as $59.99, and mine were still good at the time. But I felt good because I ended up finding a pair that was like next to new at Plato's Closet for like $18 because they know what the fuck they were. So it kind of up for me paying all that money for the original pair, but I still was hurt that they sold bad that they're in the vortex. They're not impossible to find, but they're usually expensive if you find them, and they're probably never going to retro again. They were supposed to make a Como de Garcon pair
Okay.
that was supposed to come out April of this year, but I haven't seen nothing about it in like a year, so I guess that's not happening. But they were going to be all white and all black. They weren't going to be the ones or the white, black, and red ones. So I wouldn't even want that. And they were supposed to be 350.
I'm not paying that. No. Not for all white, all black shoe. No, I don't care whose brand it is. No.
Yeah, but no, I love those. Those were like a holy. I wanted those for back to school in seventh grade, but my dad just couldn't see buying a green and purple shoe for me that didn't go with anything.
I mean, that makes sense. I get
I mean,
that.
the Aquas was a conversation, but since they were Jordans, and he knew how I felt about my Jordan, it was like, all right, because he
I
really
mean,
cares if I was gonna get the eights.
okay. I mean, aquas are pretty much an all black shoe, I feel.
Yeah,
Hey,
because I was,
kind of.
but yeah, he was not having it with that carnivore. He was like, nah, I'm not getting you those. For one, they're too, they're Nike, but they're too expensive to not be a Jordan or a Pippen or something, and they're ugly. They're green and purple. What are you gonna wear with that?
Mighty Ducks jersey.
That was around the time that came out, but yeah, he just wasn't with it. This day, I don't think I my dad in anything but basketball shoes.
Okay. Okay.
But he
Loyal.
Yeah, just basketball shoes. No runners, no cross trainers, just basketball shoes. And he has a pair of Air Monarchs because he's an old black man. It's like a law. So, you know.
Not a law. Like you hit a certain age and then one just gets delivered to you. You
Yep.
just that's like your AARP card from Nike, some Air Monarchs.
His girlfriend had him with a pair, and I was like, well, you're officially old now. I was like, what are you talking about? It's,
I hear that they're really comfortable. I hear that they're super comfortable. Aren't they like Nike, like one of Nike's highest selling shoes?
yeah,
Like,
because they're at closeout and they're at not only closeout stores but you know department stores. It's just the shoe that's everywhere. I had a pair that
Coles.
yeah, Kohl's, Belk, places like that. Oh man. Well, where do you normally get your shoes from now? Because you've been in this like me. Where you get it from? Hello to everybody joining. I'm sorry I can't comment to everybody. I'm still kind of new at this live thing.
Um, okay, so to answer your question, where do I get shoes from? Man, I get them now mainly online due to COVID. So like I'm on foot sites. I don't have bots or anything like that. So it's manual. So Foot Locker, Champs. I do like boutiques. So I'll do Sneaker Politics or Ubik or who else? I feel like I'm blanking on everybody. Bodega, Extra Butter. Like if I can't get them on like Foot Locker or something, I'll go to Packer. I'll just immediately just I have like a running list of all these boutiques and I'm just typing them in. Like I gotta find it, I gotta find it. Wish is another one. I like going to closeout stores or like Ross. Ross, Marshalls. I got my bacons from Ross. CB94s and bacons from Ross, like back in the day. Back in the day, they were both like 24.99, and that was a come up for me. Now where else? Yeah, Nike outlets. I'm really like cheap at heart.
Me too.
Uh, I try I try to stay off of StockX. I try to stay away from Goat because I feel like I always get burned. Like as soon as I buy something from Goat, they restock it.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm like, why did I do that?
I've never bought anything from StockX or Goat. There are a pair of because in the last month I've started working for Converse, so I've really been heavy on the Converses just because I've been taking so many L's. It's made it that much easier for me to just kind of focus on that. Converse is a part of Nike. Something
Right.
I can do with Nike, just working for Converse, but you know, it's a pair of Kevin McHale Converse fast breaks, and they're only $100 on there, and that's really nothing with the way shoes cost now. But you gotta like when you buy them, you gotta wait for the dude to send them to Goat so they can authenticate them and then send them to you. I'm like, damn, how long does that take? Because I'm impatient.
It'll take like a week. I feel like with what I've gotten, they've shipped pretty quickly. They've
Okay,
shipped pretty quickly. Now I've had a situation where StockX took a bit to give me my money when I've sold some shoes. Uh, but yeah, I haven't had any issues with them because I honestly the stuff what I bought last off of Goat, I bought the total orange Air Max 90s because for some reason I got confused. I was like, they sold out. And then they didn't restock immediately, like or within the time frame that I was expecting. And then as soon as I bought those shoes, they restocked.
those were weird. Like certain colors you could just get, and certain colors were like harder to get than others. And any of those OG ways, like those lime green ones, the Volt ones were everywhere.
Right.
You don't have those because you ain't want them. For a while, those pink ones were everywhere, and then they just disappeared. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got my pair from Champs for $50. Like I don't know why they were that cheap, but um, I had to wait a while for the teals. They were
Hmm.
holding on. My wife is still looking for the purple ones.
Oh yeah, those
Uh,
disappeared. Those vanished.
yeah, the blue ones are kind of here and there, but those orange ones, I wanted those, and they, DTLR was the only places that had them. But by the time they got down cheap, 12, 11 and a half, all that shit was gone. So,
Right.
you know,
So it's like I have to time it for my size because I have a popular size. Like I said, I wear like eight and a half, nine.
it didn't used to be like that either. You know what I'm saying? It didn't use
It's
8.5. I used to have them forever, forever.
I think I think eight and nine like are like cause and I feel like I've been buying a lot of nines lately. But
Mm.
before that I was buying eights and eights would just fly. they would fly for some reason. So
Hmm.
at the half sizes, they seem to sit a bit.
Yeah, like
And
the only thing I feel like y'all can get like actual basketball shoes, LeBrons and Kobe's and stuff, usually go for a little cheaper than they do in my size, but everything else is more expensive than your, your size. My wife wears like an 8.5 as well. So, you know what I'm saying? I can feel the pain. If you want to women,
mm,
you gotta get that shit right now. It's gonna be gone,
right,
you know.
right. So that urgency with GOAT got me because I saw my size and I'm like, I really wanted these. I really wanted them. And I bought them. And did I pay over? I don't think I paid over, but I paid retail. And I didn't need to pay retail. I
Yeah.
didn't. Because then they went on sale. They popped up and all of a sudden they're 99. And I'm like, really?
Shit used to always happen to me back in the day. Like when I was buying shit frivolously, that shit used to always happen. Man, I could have just waited. So
One day I'll learn. I'm learning. I've gotten a lot better at it. I've gotten a lot better at waiting.
I
And Nike has helped me because like before, like okay, when I first got into sneakers, I was one of those because I was doing YouTube like back in like 2010. I did like I had a little YouTube channel going on, and the whole thing was to like get shoes before everybody else. So I was paying over to get shoes from like Kicks Crew and all these other kind of well, no, Kicks Crew I think they're legit, but there were some other sites that a little questionable. Then that's when like the whole like B grade and unauthorized started floating around. But I would pay like 50, 100 over. So I've gotten to this point now where I have so many shoes that I don't feel that urgency to pay over. My issue now is, do I want to pay retail?
yeah, like, and I feel you. I'm glad you said that because you know, I try to explain to some people, it's like, people be like, oh, you cheap. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cheap. I'm over 40 now. I'm cheap. Yes. Shit is real. But
Right.
it's like when you have a lot of shoes, like you have a lot of shoes, a lot of these people in these comments, have a
Right.
lot of shoes. When you have them, it's like the value of them isn't the same because you're only going to wear them every once in a while.
And they're gonna retro. They're gonna release in 3 to 5 years. So I'm like, I'll wait.
Yeah. Like there are certain shoes that no matter how many times they come out, I have to get them. It's only a few. But like even with the Carmines, I'm like, man, my 2014 pair is just too icy for me to justify paying that money. And it's the first Nike Air retro that I've missed.
Those hurt. I miss those, and those really hurt. Those that really hurt. Because I had the 2014 pair. I think I sold them when I found out that the Nike Air pair was coming out. So I'm like, okay, I'm preparing for them. And I thought they were going to be everywhere. I thought everybody was off Jordans. You
Yes.
know, I thought everybody was on dunks and ones. And I'm like, I get the one hype. I get the dunks. I'm like, yeah, focus on that. Please focus.
I don't
But
get it.
then when this, I don't get it either because other Jordans, they were sitting. They were sitting. And then all of a sudden, like and I mean, they're not going for that much over retail, but I'm still like, I don't want to. You can't make me. I'm not paying over retail. I'll just wait. I'll just wait.
Yeah, like I'm to the point where not beat up, but I'd rather buy someone's used pair that is again just gently worn, where maybe I get them for 150 or something like that, than I had to have a dead stock for 300. Like you know,
I mean, you're gonna wear them anyway. I'm a thrifter, so
be
I've so I would thrift. That's how I kind of really got into this like heavy because I would find like amazing like stuff at the thrift and then I would flip it on eBay. Like I found like 99 Fire Red fives, with the Nike Air on the back at the thrift store. I kept those. I kept those so for myself. But I found Bread 11s. I found Concords. I found foam posits. Back when foam posits were really like popular and sold those. Um, and so I get it. I'll pop out the insoles, replace them. I'll clean them, and as long as they're not beat, I know some people feel a way about buying used shoes, but I've had no problem selling them. So somebody lying.
yeah, nah. Since because we've been living in North Carolina since August. We moved from Cleveland down here. Like that's really been the one thing, other than obviously family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
that I um because the thrifting down here is just not. It's just not the same. Like I was doing the same thing as you, and that was like a second income for me, just finding
Right.
stuff, you know, and just flipping it. Some stuff I would keep. Now, what's the best thrifting find ever found?
Oh, those Concord 11s. That was like, I think that was like the top find for me.
Okay, that's a pretty
And
good one.
those fives, because I wore them. They were wearable and they were real. So that I think that was the best. That's the best find for me thrifting wise.
My best thrifting find was in 2008. I found the neutral gray ones in the thrift store.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I still have them. They're up there. They were $2. Now
Are you kidding me?
I I was looking for like a lot of times when I thrift, I like to I have a thing about ties. I like random ties. So
Okay.
I was looking there like a box of neckties, and I was going through it. At the bottom, it was one of the shoes, and I'm just like I can't believe it. Like it's a neutral gray one. I haven't even retro these, and
That's wild.
like I couldn't find the other shoe, and they had it behind the counter.
Oh, that's for $2?
They were $2. That was the best thrifting find ever. I've had some great ones, but that was the best one. This is a recent thrifting find. It's GI Joe. No one is happy. Shirt. It was $2 at a Living Free Ministries thrift store, some North Carolina stuff. But yeah, I'm all about the thrift. Like I don't really get a lot of views on YouTube when I post my thrifting, but it's one of my favorite things to do.
That's
If I
what got me onto YouTube.
okay,
Thrifting.
yeah,
Thrifting got me onto YouTube because I would go and I would like do my thrift hauls and I would find all this streetwear. And I feel like everybody was doing it on YouTube. And again, this was like in 2010. And I feel like because of that, like the prices shot up.
yeah,
Like, are
people.
you seeing that when you go to the thrift? Like stuff, like all of a sudden it seems like they know how they're pricing things. Like things used to be like $14, now it's like $35. And I'm like, what you know about Dub Zeros? Those aren't worth $35.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, here they are.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yo, they're
So yeah,
not separating or anything. They like they're intact.
I wore these the first day we moved down here. I was like, well, I might as well wear these. But yeah, I mean, they're not even that oxidized. I mean, so
And it's crazy because people will buy the retros, and then send them to a customizer to make them look just like those. How do you feel about that?
it's just crazy because, like, all right, these are the shoes I've had the longest. I've had these since
Yo,
the 94, 95 ones. But like, I've tried to get this, I've been trying for at least 10 years to get this back white, and it just won't turn white. So after a while, I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just leave it the way it is, and to see people doing that now is crazy to me because if I could get this back white, since they're probably never going to retro them, I would do that.
right, right. I think exactly. Twin Mother says those look great. They do. Those ones look great, and people would pay to have that soul look like that. That's okay. So how do you? I don't know. I feel kind of a way about, and I don't know how I feel about it, about people having like the distress worn look customized onto a shoe instead of just wearing them.
Nah,
Like,
I just wear them.
why do you think people do that? Like, I mean, I know back in my sneaker play days, it was kind of like the
Ooh,
thing to like,
sneaker play.
right? I don't know why. I feel like sneaker play needs to come back, but I feel like I was like, I was in awe of the people who had older shoes. Like they had those 1990s pairs, like the 96 pairs. Um, so I mean, I guess maybe that's it. People kind of want to have those bragging rights, but like without actually having it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you should
Cloud
just
chase.
wear your shoes. Just beat them.
It's
Hmm?
cloud chase. I had these. You try to make your bread ones look like they're from '85. But it's like, bro, I can tell by the red that they're not. You know what I mean? Anybody who
Right.
really know what's just been distressed. And sometimes the shoes, I mean, certain shoes do look better worn than but not beat. Don't beat them up. You beat up Vans or some Chucks or Jordan threes can be beat up and be
I
okay.
was gonna say. Okay, yeah. I think you
It's,
beat up fours.
yeah, infrared 90s. I've seen beat up pairs. I'm like, really, neon 95s. Like, they really don't look that bad, you know. But it's
Metallic fives. You could beat up metallic fives.
yeah, I have a pair that I do yard work in, wear in the snow, but I still wear them out. My wife is like, nah, I can't wear nothing older, oxidized one. She won't let me wear the Chicago's if we go somewhere. But she's like, nah,
Really?
yeah, she's. I hope she's not. She can't hear me. But um, my wife is she's into it. She's into it. She's in it. She's in the life, but she just likes new stuff. She doesn't like old stuff.
Okay, she wants that clean look.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you this: how do you feel about the beat up Air Force Ones? I feel like that's like a trend. I think it's dying though, but like the white
I,
beat.
I see it, but it's not. And I hate to make it a right. That's not really something that I feel like our people do. I feel like that's because I mean, again, I hate to make it black and white, but like white people can wear beat stuff, and it's cool. It's part of their. It's just part of what they do, and it's cool. But like we're not like that. I can't
Yeah,
think of a better way to say it. And I hate to make it black and white, but yeah.
I I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you because when you start seeing people's Air Force Ones, whether they're the black ones or the white ones, and they start getting a little dicey, you start to question their integrity. Like, what's going on in your life that your Air Force Ones look like this?
Yeah,
Like, where you running off to? Like, what's in your pockets? Like, how are you living? Where are you living? It's kind of like I just feel like you can't beat them up like that.
but
Oh, I think
man,
you get
all
some
the time,
confirmation.
they said it. But yeah, I mean, but I some of which are in these comments. I know white guys that wouldn't wear beat shoes. Some of these guys comment, what's up, Mike? What's up, Jay? They wouldn't wear. I've never seen them wear beat shoes, but some people they could wear beat chucks, and I know because um, working for Converse, like the best selling shoe is still a black and white high top. More than any collab, anything, people just want that black and white high top.
I
I
think
leave it.
I think Chuck's a good beat. I
Yeah,
think that's definitely a beater shoe.
no shoe with a clear sole looks good yellowed, unless I don't know. It has to be a certain way about it. I don't know. Like I just did my Air Jordan 6 collection video for YouTube, so like
Hmm.
I'll these and I'm like these don't look that bad yellow, but if I've got a better looking pair, I probably would just wear that pair. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'd rather it yellow like that than like the blue tint that Nike started putting on the clear soles because I
Okay.
feel like it doesn't it it doesn't look good either. It didn't really stop the problem. It's just like now a different type of murky color.
Yeah,
It didn't keep them clear. They don't stay blue. Like I don't know. I don't mind fives being yellowed.
I don't
I
mind.
don't. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't mind 11s being yellowed. I don't think I mind yellow soles. I'm gonna say it. I don't think I mind clear yellow soles. I
All
don't.
right. I'm gonna reposition myself and say because I'm guilty of it. I've got the same shoe yellowed, but I'll have a clear pair too. Because certain outfits, like I have my CDP car mines are yellow as fuck, but they look better with certain
Oh,
outfits. My 2014 pair, and vice versa.
because the 2014 has that weird blue tint,
Yeah, yeah.
and I bet you I'm waiting for Jordan to go ahead and release some Concords with a pre-yellowed sole.
Oh, it's gonna
Just
happen.
go ahead. Just don't do it. Just do it. I'd buy them. I'd buy them. I would.
Yeah, but
Actually, I would.
you're in this life. You're in it. You know what I mean? You done cracked my head a few times. You South Beach eights, man. You know, made me want to pull my pair out. I know you get. I
um, hmm?
know you getting them when they come.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not sleeping on those. I'm not sleeping on those. If I actually like the LeBron 8 a lot. And I feel like I've kind of slept on what they released that purple pair recently. I didn't want those. I really just want the South Beaches. I just want those.
I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm such a stuck in my ways. Like you got to come with them Heat colors, man. That was when he was with the Heat. He had just left us in Cleveland. Where's the black and red ones? You know what I mean?
Right. If they were retro OG ones, then yeah.
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 I love the Lakers, but it's still strange. That's my favorite team. I have a Lakers tattoo. it's still strange seeing LeBron wear a Lakers jersey, even though they've won a championship. It's still strange to me.
So you're
So,
from Cleveland
mm-mm.
and you're a Lakers fan. You've always been a Lakers fan. Look,
Oh,
I'm not judging.
no, it's yeah. I mean, in the '80s, I mean, Magic. He still is my favorite player of all time. But the Lakers are what
Okay.
got me into basketball. My dad raised me that way, because he's a Laker.
Okay.
And
Ah,
they got good in the late '80s, but if you're from Cleveland and you're into sports, you have to have a second team because up until 2016, you will always get disappointed. You know,
okay. I get that.
I mean, y'all stole our football team. You know what I mean?
Is that what happened?
Well, Art Modell moved the Browns to Baltimore, and they became the Ravens. That's how the Ravens, because y'all hadn't had football since '84 when the Colts was there. I'm dating myself here, but yeah, you know. So that's why.
Okay. So I used to live in Pittsburgh, and so I know like Pittsburgh seems to have beef with everybody, but I thought like somehow like the Cleveland did. What is the deal between Cleveland and Pittsburgh? What is that?
Well,
And how did the Ravens get on in all of this?
they're all in the same division.
Okay,
The AFC North is the Browns, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals. Um, the Browns and Steelers have been rivals for years and years, and they kind of, up until maybe the last 30 years, they would alternate decades. The Browns were better than the Steelers in the 60s. The Steelers were better in the 70s. The Browns were better in the 80s. The Steelers were
okay.
better in the 90s. And then we didn't have a team for a little while. And we've only had a couple of good seasons since the Browns came back.
Ah,
And
okay,
people
okay.
hate the Ravens because the Ravens were the Browns.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Because, as soon as I moved to Pittsburgh, they were like, "Are you a Ravens fan?" I'm like, "Look, I learned from the whole Redskins and Cowboys thing to just not answer those types of questions. So that's worse than
Uh,
asking, like, people what their political affiliation is at work. I'm like, I do not have a team. I don't want no smoke with none of y'all. Do not come at me with that energy. So, okay, now it's making sense. I do have like a Pittsburgh blanket because they forced me to have it. Um, because you can't live in Pittsburgh without one, I guess. I don't know. So yeah. I'm one of those sneakerheads that's not really into sports. Like I'll watch basketball. I'd rather play sports than watch them.
hmm,
So I'm
okay.
more of a like I know stuff about sports. I follow some of it, but mainly like my whole sneaker kind of obsession came from what I saw growing up, came from TV, pop culture. So I'm more like fashion oriented. And I think I used to feel a way about that because when I was doing YouTube and when I was interacting with a lot of male sneakerheads, they want me to recite stats and like, oh, this guy. And I'm like, they're like just asking me these weird questions. I was like, yo, Martin wore these. I saw these on Martin. That's why I
Yes,
liked it.
I appreciate you touching on that because part of the aura of a lot of these shoes is not just the athlete, but it's the product placement. Martin, Seinfeld, Will
Fresh
Smith,
Prince, yeah.
A Different World. All of these shows, it was always somebody with the kicks, and it's like, damn, he got them too. I really need to get these. Mom, Dad,
Right.
could I get these? I want the Jordans. Can I get them? Can I get them? Can I get them for a whole year?
Right. Right. And you see your cousins, they have them. You see everybody. You like, the
Rich.
coolest guys, coolest cats in the hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's the struggle of being like no, I'm not going to say that. There are a bunch of female sneakerheads that are really about sports. They are really about it. And they have those stats. I just don't. I don't. I'm like, I know who Jordan is. I know who LeBron is. I know who Kobe is. I know who the main players are. But I don't know nobody's record. I don't rep anybody's team. I wear everybody's jersey because they match my shoes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough because like the Lakers are my favorite team, but I have Cavs stuff. If I like a player, I may have their jersey. Like I hate the Celtics, but I still got a Larry Bird jersey because I have his
Okay.
weapon. You know what I mean? Like if it's
Right.
gold, you know, I gotta have that. But um, yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of shoes that I probably wouldn't own if I wasn't into sports. Like I wouldn't have Iversons and the Adidas Kobe's and but I mess with them.
I
So
kind of like that crazy eights. I like the crazy eights. I just like the look of them. I like the design.
I like them a lot more now than I did when they were out. Like up until maybe the late 2000s, I was strictly like old school Adidas, just Rod Laver, Stan Smiths, Superstar,
Okay.
um,
Oh, you ahead of the curve.
SL72. Yeah, like I've always had those shoes. So when they got popular, like
Mhm.
2015 and 16, it's like, then had them. I also tell you, this is the reason why I need a new pair.
Oh,
It's just this
dang.
shoe.
I mean, yeah, that's bad. That's yeah.
Like, like
They gonna go to dust. You gonna leave that air unit in the street. You don't have to walk on your toes all the way back home. No.
yeah. Well, let me ask
I
you
mean,
right quick. So what's your go-to shoe?
okay, my go-to, I'm about to just run out the house real quick shoe. I'm from the DMV, so New Balances.
Oh,
The 990 V5s.
could you
They're
explain that?
gray.
I've
What
never
you
understood.
mean? I don't know if I can
The
explain it.
992, I never understood that.
What? First of all, they're comfortable. I still
Um,
need the 992s and the 991s. I never got into the 993s, which I feel like is really a staple. Um, but I like the V5, the 990 V5. I like it. I don't know if I can really tell you why. I think, you know, I think it goes back to who you saw wearing them growing up, and I think the coolest dudes, the dudes who had money, dudes on the streets, they had New Balances. New Balances were slightly more expensive. Um, so I think they were a flex. They still are a flex. Like 992s, like some of these are like 260 retail. And
yeah,
I'm
they
like,
just it's a
ooh,
bad shoe. That's why I'm like, I can see a 997, a 998, a 999, like those. I can see it. I just can't see the early 990 shoes. But that's just me. No hate.
I don't know. I look down at them. Like I look at the toe box and it just screams DMV. Like, cause they all kind of have like that similar kind of like webbing or whatever, reflective, whatever on the toe box. I think just growing up in the DMV, like you are okay if you have a pair of New Balances. You are okay. You will survive.
Yeah, like my best friend, he used to live in Southeast DC. He went to Howard, and he worked in Arlington, Virginia. So I used to come down there quite a bit
Hmm.
when he lived there, and I would always go to the Urban Outfitters in Georgetown, or I would go to City Sports. The,
Okay.
where's the place in DMV to get that stuff? I know we talked earlier about where you go, but like, where's the place in the DMV to get shoes?
You know what? I used to know that. I used to know that. And then I moved. I moved. I used to kind of like people would recognize me in line. I was at releases so much, but I was still going to your normal stores like Champs and I would go like to Largo. I don't even know if I think they like tore down that mall. I think it's like a hospital now. I haven't been over there in a minute. So I really don't even know where to get shoes from in DC. I know Footage Society is somewhere kind of in Maryland somewhere. 9 out of 10 Boutique. That's a sneaker consignment store that's here in Baltimore, and they're really dope. They're really nice. Um, Trying to think. I go to Arundel Mills. Like I said, I'm cheap. I'm going to Burlington. I'm going to the factory store. That's where I'm trying to find my shoes because I don't want to pay retail. And if I have to pay retail, I'm not leaving my house. Or if I'm going to leave my house, I'll probably go to Shoe City or go to, do they even have DTLR? It's still DTLR, like Villa slash DTLR.
Yeah, back in
Um, yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, I was gonna say back in the day before they bought Villa, DCLR, DC was the first place I ever saw it because we didn't have those in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
You know, I was a little bit familiar with them when they finally made it up.
See, I didn't see a Villa until I went to until I moved to Pittsburgh. So it was always DTLR for me. DTLR and Shoe City. Those were like the places. So I really don't know. I know Georgetown has a few places. We have a Nike Town. I know there's like Ubik and I really don't know, honestly. That's sad. That is really
Okay.
sad.
I mean, I've only not lived in Cleveland for 8 months, and it would probably be a struggle for me to tell you, well, you should go here, you should go here, because a lot of the places that I got my shoes from aren't there anymore. I mean, Next Coventry isn't even open anymore. So yeah, it's
See, I moved back here from Pittsburgh. I moved back here right before, like a year before COVID hit. So then once COVID hit, I just kind of stayed in the house. I didn't really get to branch out. I haven't even been thrifting. Like I just kind of been chilling, seeing if this will blow over. So I think maybe once things kind of settle, then I can get back out there and see what's up. But yeah, I mean, are people really going into stores? Like maybe you would know more than me.
yeah,
Like people are
they are
still going into stores.
heavy.
I feel like I've been doing a lot of online shopping
Everybody got money.
for
Everybody
now.
everybody want to be seen, so everybody's out.
Okay. Okay. I did go to Arundel Mills and it was hectic in there. And I'm like, wait, there's no limit. Like, we just don't care anymore. Is it over? Is it over? It's not
It's
over. I
over.
know it's over.
That's
Is it
how
over?
it ain't, but that's how they act. Like whew, the Tanger outlets here by my house, like people going crazy. It's people everywhere. Like it's pre-COVID. So
I
yeah,
guess
it's
we're
been
back.
crazy. All right. Are there any challenges you feel like you have there ever been any challenges you feel like with you being a female sneakerhead?
Um, Other than getting my size, other than, being questioned like about stats, like going really heavy on like the sports side of it. Um, I feel like with some people that I've spoken to, if I didn't have that like sports enthusiasm, I feel like a lot of people, especially when I did YouTube, they would come for my sneaker knowledge. I feel like they would be quick to like try to point out my shoes as fake or something like that. And I'm like, why are we doing this? If I were a guy, would you be coming at me like this? And I've had to like prove people wrong. And I'm like, I got these from the outlets. And like, nah, nah, nah. I'm like, I have a receipt. Like, I feel like I have to prove myself more,
Hmm.
which I I used to feel that way. I don't think I feel that way anymore. I feel like I'm more secure and just, you know, I buy what I like. I feel like I have an extensive sneaker knowledge that spans brands and models and years. I'm really good with dates. I can tell you when shoes came out. I just can't tell you what athlete, well, I can tell you what athlete wore them, but I just can't tell you how many, points he made that season. I
Sure.
can't tell you that.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
So, um, so yeah, I feel like there was this point where like people would come for my sneaker knowledge, but other than that, um, I don't think I really have any. I don't think I have any other issues. Um, I think yeah.
Okay. Oh, I do have to ask. Have you worn those Aero Jams yet?
Okay, I'm gonna be straight with you. I flipped those. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's $100 profit.
Let's
I
go.
let them go. I let them go. I know. I thought about it. I looked at them and I was like, that's
Hey, they were bought at Pro, so I made a profit on them. So you made a profit on them too. It's all
right.
good.
And then I'm sure whoever bought it from me, they're gonna make a profit. I was like, I gotta let them go. I gotta let them go.
Cool.
It was a great deal that you gave me, and then I gave them. So it's like I'm paying it forward,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of.
No, I respect.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
I appreciate it. All right. So, what would you say is the number one thing that influences your purchasing habits with the sneakers?
uh, I would say like I do buy what I like, but I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes hype gets to me. Like I have these moments where like the thrill of like the come up takes over, And I'm like, oh, if I hit on this, and then I'll do this thing where if I hit on it and I get it, and I'm like, I know I could flip it. And I'm not a reseller. It's just sometimes when I just don't like to leave money on the table sometimes. So I'll be stuck in this place where I'm like, okay, should I stun on them or should I just take the money? And most of the times I choose to keep them. And most of the time I choose to keep them. Like these Clyde Air Max ones, when I get them in, I'll keep them for sure. I mean, they're not really going for much more.
I've been waiting for them shoes for like 2 weeks, man.
Apparently, they're supposed to be here tomorrow. I thought they were
Mine's
going to
supposed to come on
cancel it.
Thursday. Ugh.
I mean, I don't know. FedEx, they need to not use FedEx. FedEx don't care.
Nah, I'm glad that they use FedEx and not Laser Ship. Laser Ship is the worst.
What is that?
It's if they can't use UPS or FedEx, sometimes they use Laser Ship and they don't update tracking or nothing. It's awful.
So it's just like whenever
When
they just. I've never had anything delivered to me by laser ship. Ah, okay.
just be on the lookout. I know you cop a lot of things, so if you see that, it might be some foolery with that. On the tracking side.
Ah, okay. I'll be on the
Yeah.
lookout. I will be on the lookout for sure.
Yeah. Or you might not even get it. I mean, they be stealing, so
Oh, not they be stealing.
stealing. I said it.
That's happened to me before. I've had shoes stolen from me right off my doorstep. Actually, they opened up the box in front of my door, took the shoes out, left the empty box, just took the shoes. I'm like, so it was delivered, but you just took my shoes. You left the box. Why wouldn't you just take the whole thing? Why wouldn't you give me hope?
What shoe was this?
They were the Air Max One. I think the nickname is Flamingo. They were part of like a tech pack. I got them off eBay.
Was it the white, green, and pink? Those?
Yes.
The Summit
No, they're not
Pulse?
green. They were like,
Flamingo.
which ones were they? I feel like I'm like looking for my phone.
Uh,
What I wanted. But they were like an older pair, a pair that came out like I bought these probably in 2012, 2013.
okay.
And they probably had released in like '05 or '06, so they were an older pair. And I think, did they have a pink sole?
They sound raw.
They were, and they just straight up just stole them. Like I couldn't even deny that they were delivered. I think that was it. And I tried to, I do what everybody does on eBay when, they're stolen from in their neighborhood. I'm like, yo, my shoes didn't get delivered. They're like, that I have nothing to do with that. So
Yeah. That
that's
happened to me.
okay. Why wouldn't you take the box? I just don't understand why you would take the box with you.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was cold there. That was ooh. I had a pair
It
of
felt personal.
yeah. Well, I had a pair of Hyper Dunks. They're called the Hyper Dunk Kobe Making History, and this was like the same time, like 2012, and they got stolen. And I got them for a deal. I paid like $42 for them, but that same shoe was like $1,000 now. Because of the recent events. So it's a shoe I'll probably never own that I actually bought, but you know, it's still a hyper dunk. Got Kobe lasering all over it. Like it's still a hyper dunk. It's not gonna make me jump higher or run faster. So I'm not trying to pay over for it. So I feel you on that.
Right. So you just gotta let them go. I've taken some losses. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, I do have to ask. You have a lot of heat. What is your holy grail?
That I actually own, or
Either
that I.
what
Okay,
not
so
one that you still are trying to get.
ah, what's the one that I want right now? So for some reason I want, and it's a dunk. I know, but Futura dunks, the like gray navy, those dunks,
For the
and
love of the money ones, the floms, or which ones?
no, they have a black sole, gray midsole. They're like gray, black, and blue.
Hmm. Huh.
I know it's like it's okay. So I had a friend who had them in high school, and I just remember wanting those. Like I didn't. I was like, I want those dunks, and I could never find them. And I've been looking for them ever since. And now they're anywhere like to for a beat pair, it's like 800. And I'm like, I am not buying beat dunks that are creased with heel drag. Like, and it's not even heel drag. It's like heel carved off.
That's the thing that sucks about buying. Anytime you get a dunk used, it's always got a little bit of heel drag. You know what I mean? Even if person that have to be damn near new to not have it. Like,
I don't want to see the
not
white of the heel.
heel drag is too bad. If I wear it, a nigga know. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll be able to see it. Like, nah, I can't wear
Right.
it. So I'm with you on that.
And
Okay.
like I feel like I had an opportunity to get them right before like the dunk craze hit its height, and I didn't pull the trigger on them. So now they like shot up double. So that's the pair that I just I still I don't know if I'll get them. I don't know. I don't know. The pair that I own, that's a grail that I actually pulled the trigger on because I'm like, I don't think I'll find these, and I know they're not releasing them. Are these, which are my footscapes. So these are the Atlas footscapes.
I said I love footscapes.
Right, they're the most comfortable. I feel like this is a shoe where you either love it or you hate it, and they're the most comfortable. I think they're the most comfortable Nike model for me. For me.
Yeah.
Um, but I these released I think in 2012, and I think they were an Asia exclusive. They didn't touch the US.
Oof.
So I found these in my size. They got the glow in the dark sole. You know, they got like the stars and everything on them. And I've worn these. I've worn these a few times, and I love them. This was a major grail, major accomplishment from not an accomplishment or acquisition, I should say, for me
Awesome.
that I actually own. So,
Oof.
but yeah,
I always
yeah,
well they used to have some footscapes that had a 360 bottom on them, like back in the 2000s.
I remember those.
I
I
always
remember those.
yeah, I always wanted those. They had a bunch of them. I mean, I have maybe personally maybe 7 or 8. I love footscapes. We used to have them at Coventry for dirt, so I used to buy them every time they would get to be like under $40. I would just grab them. But
Right.
I appreciate the fact that you have some too. I saw you post them, but I didn't know that you were gonna come with them in this show. You've hurt me a little bit there. I've already taken an L over Terry Johnson's, the structures. I wonder I'm even still conscious. Uh,
You're gonna get them. You're gonna get them. I just feel like you can't not get them. Somebody's gonna help you get them. If I see them, I'll definitely send them your way. But I feel like they're gonna restock. I feel like they're gonna restock. Nike has been playing games. They know what it is to do to increase height and urgency. I feel like you're gonna get them.
I hope so. Well, we've talked about some L's already, but do you have a tragic sneaker story, or what? Like your hardest L you took, or a regret that you didn't pull the trigger on besides those Futuras, or
Okay, so my biggest L, the Galaxy Foamposite release.
mm,
I camped out for like 3 days. I called off from work, from the
ooh,
parking lot. I was out there arguing with people because everybody wants somebody. There's always an alpha that emerges, and they want to act like they work for them all. And I guess people were cutting up, and they just canceled the release. But they waited for everybody to leave, and they were like, "Psych!" And so then everybody started flooding back to the mall. This was at PG Mall,
wow,
and I was out there, and I did not get those phones. So what they did was they let us in. They they didn't release the phones. I feel like they released the phones another day. So I went in there and I got the flight ones. I got Kobe's. I didn't get the KD4s. I wish I would have gotten those. Um and I didn't get the LeBrons. I didn't get those either. I didn't get the nines. But I was there for the phones. I was out there. It was I had like that was my biggest loss to walk away without those. And I refuse to buy them. I'm not buying them. I'm not.
yeah. I had to really think about my hardest L, but my biggest regret was not buying the Chicago ones or the Shatter Backboard ones from Next Coventry because I had them there, and I could have got them with my discount. But I mean, at the time, the Jordan hype was just starting, and Jordan 1s were never like unattainable. And that 2013 Chicago sold so bad because it was made so bad
Oh
that
yeah, it was terrible.
whatever, but I mean, I could
Ooh,
both of them for $86 a piece. So those
actually,
grave
the
regret.
shattered backboards, the first ones, that was a major. That was one of my biggest come ups because I got those for under retail, and I sold them. I sold them. I sold them. I sold them. I did.
Sneaker Reed, come on, bro.
I sold them. They were DS, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I have Chicago's, I have Royals, and that's just it. The Royal ones, those are my favorites. And I was like, I have my favorites. I was like, I don't need these. So I sold them. I did. I did. They're worth more now. I got good money for them, but
Yeah, I mean, the other reason was I was just thinking about wearability. I was like, I don't really have a lot of orange things. I'm like, I don't even know how I would wear these. Not even thinking about the black, but I definitely, I don't know why I didn't. They were there. I even made a video on Instagram of me sniffing them because the leather smelled so good, and I still didn't buy them. So that's a big regret of mine. Not because they're worth so much, because I genuinely like them, but when I had a chance to buy them, I didn't.
that one hurts. I could see that hurting. That sounds like it hurts. And I didn't expect them to be so popular. I didn't expect ones to do what they did either.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
I was telling one dude, I'm like, if anything can be hot, if Jordan 1s were as unpopular as they were before 2011, which, you and I both know they were. Nobody, other old dudes and sneakerheads, basically, this one young dude, I told him, I'm like, Jordan 1s were like how y'all view Jordan 2s now. That's how the
Mm,
Jordan 1, it was exactly the same to me. The same customer was buying the Jordan 1 that buys 2s. Me.
right. Everybody would skip to the three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody would skip to the threes.
If it wasn't, you had a few people, the Breads or the Chicago's, you have a few old sneakerheads, but yeah, it would just be 3 and up, 3 to 13.
Yeah. I mean, you would see, I would throw 14s in there. I feel like you would see 14s. Maybe
I'll
not.
just
Maybe
say,
not. I know you don't see 15s. I'll tell you that.
I'll
I
the
like
only,
the 15s.
the only time I ever sold out of a Jordan 14 that day was not until 2018 when they came out with the black and reds. Um, I always had a hard time selling 14s any place, Foot Locker, Next, wherever. I never really sold them well, but that's just, I guess, my experience with them. But I feel like the 14 is sort of like the 2, where it's a love it or hate it shoe.
True. True.
Now that red 14 last summer, that was the 14 for the hood because it was red.
And then the yellow ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
the Thunder 14 was for the hood, but it came out 4th of July, and niggas be trying to wear red, white, and blue, so it didn't really
I,
come out. It got more popular later to me than it was when it came out. So I did sell out of the black and red 15s when they retroed them in 2017, though. I did sell out of them, the black and red ones, not the Obsidians, but people was buying them because they go more with today's fashion than 2000.
yeah, I mean, I feel like Yeezy, that's what all the Yeezys look like. They look like 15s to me.
I can
High
see,
top 15s.
I can see that. Even in the basketball fit, I can see that.
Right, right. They look like 15s. I mean, yeah, all of them. All of them. See, okay, somebody else said they like 15s. I
Yeah.
like 15s and they're comfortable.
I liked them enough where I bought every original color of them when they came out, and I still have all those old OGs, but it's still the worst Air Jordan ever made to me. Of that
Okay.
original 1 through 23, it's still the worst. The 19 is a close second, but I still own them.
Okay, you said the 19, not the 18. Okay.
I love the
I like
18.
the 18. I like the 18.
Yeah, I love the
The
18.
19, the 16, I don't like the shroud. And the 19, I feel like they're hard to get on.
I feel it. I mean, to me, the 16 only looks like an Air Jordan to me with the shroud. Without the shroud, it just looks like a Team Jordan.
See, I like 16 lows.
Okay.
But then I like Team Jordans. So, like, I can see that. Yeah, you're right. You're
That
right.
money, man. They were 250. That white was 250 when they retroed it.
So So how much did I? Yeah. What? 19s are just for balling. Are they though? I
Hey,
feel
I wear
like
them casual.
they hit at the ankle at a no. They're not weird at the ankle for y'all.
I wear them casual. I play basketball in 19s, but I just wear them casual. My favorite pair is the East pair that was for Jason Kidd, the white, blue, and red one. That's probably
Okay.
the most if I had to pick one.
Okay.
The
Okay.
the Midwest one, the white and red one, is probably the one I wear the least. It's almost dead stop. So
See, I don't. I don't own 19s.
that's only by choice. I mean, with all you got, you know what I'm saying? I figured you white and gray ones, the retros or something, you might have had them.
Nope. I don't. I feel like I've gotten to this place where like I've kind of narrowed down on the Jordan models that I really like, and I really like sevens. That's my. I think I have the most sevens, sevens, eights, 7 and 8s and 5s. Those are my favorite.
Good. That's good. I mean,
So I've
the True
slowly
Flight,
sold other ones. Hmm?
the True Flight ruined the 7.
You're right.
They
You're
don't
right.
come out with them anymore, man.
Because
When
you
was the
don't
last time
need
they
to.
retro? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But think about it. When was the last time they had a general release Jordan 7 that wasn't like a China thing or some weird low top? Like it's been a long time since they had a regular Jordan 7 in the store.
I mean, they had the Ray Allens, but I mean, that was based off of a PE.
Okay,
Then they
that's
had the Reflection 7, which is because I'm going to get to a pair of Cardinal 7s. And let me see what else I got. I mean, I have the Bordeaux from, what's this, 2015? And I like
the
these
better.
patent leather ones. This women's release. I like these a lot. Right here, which are pretty much like they're supposed to be like Raptors, but like feminized, I guess. But I like them. They're great rain boots. So,
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's the same shoe, other than the patent leather instead of the suede. But I love
but
7.
I love sevens. I think they're comfortable, and I like the fact that they don't have the air unit, so I feel like they'll be wearable for a bit. Like I'm focusing on longevity. I'm focusing on comfort because I'm old. So, like I've gotten rid of like a lot of Jordans that I just really just didn't wear.
Hmm.
So I've really cut down. I've really cut down. I really mainly have ones, which I could cut down more on. 8, 7s, 11s. I do have 11s.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last 7. I forgot about the Ray Allens. That is true. That was probably the last GR. Before the Ray Allens, I think those white and gray ones were the last 7s that weren't like limited or you know. And
Oh
that was
yeah, I forgot about those.
those and those all blue ones. I do have those because I don't really have a lot of Carolina Jordans, but I do have those for some reason. Can't.
Okay, okay.
But
The lows were weird. I would say the lows were weird. The 7 lows were weird.
yeah.
I tried to make those work. I just wish they would just retro the Cardinals. Just just give those to me, please. Or the Olympics. Come, you can give us the Olympics.
Those are like, and again, those are like my 2 least favorite. Like, if we wore the same size, because I have 2 of each, I would just give them to you if we wore the same size. Because they're originals, but they're boring. There's not even the design
What?
on the tongue. A 7 isn't a 7 if the design isn't on the tongue, man. You got to have the zigzags on the tongue, man. Those Cardinals are boring. I know they're OG. I own them. I even have an original pair of Cardinals from '92. That was a good thrifting find. I found those at the thrift. But they don't have no, it's just a white tongue. The 7, the best thing about the 7 is the tongue.
That
It's
is
just,
true.
and then the Olympics is just blue. But that's just me. If I'm wearing some OG 7s, I'm wearing the Bordeaux first, the hair second, the black and reds third. Then the Cardinals, then the Olympics. But I probably would slip some retro plus colorway that's better, like the Flints or the Pacifics or the Chambrays.
The
Some of those colors
Pacifics.
are, oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm saying the Pacifics. No, those, yes. Like the Pacifics, yes. The ceramics, yes.
Mm.
Those.
I mean, even though I own them, as garbage as they are to me, even the Orion 7s have a design on the
Uh-uh.
tub.
What we're not gonna do is bring these these bootleg Olympics into this and act like they're better. Those
Now,
those
Like Olympics are them Olympics from 2015 with the blue toe. That's the bootleg Olympics. Those garbage. I bought the clothes
The
to go with
Tinker
them.
Hatfield joint?
Huh?
The Tinker Hatfield ones?
Yeah,
That's what
man. No.
aren't that technically
Look,
aren't they supposed to be those?
look. If I saw them at Plato's Closet for $50 or under, even though I don't like them, I'd buy them.
I'm about to say, I will buy them.
I would buy them. I mean, but I just maybe they were supposed to be like that, but there was a reason why they weren't.
Okay.
That's just me. You know, but I appreciate your love for the sevens because I love them too. The Bordeaux is the best seven ever. Best seven.
Yes, I can agree with you on that. Best sevens, hands down. Hands down. My
You can wear them
favorite.
with anything. Never.
Anything.
My wife has. She's like, I don't know what I'm wearing with them. I'm like, she has a pair too. Like sweater Bordeaux.
Yeah, I mean, really, they have every color you could want.
Uh-oh. It looked like it froze a little bit. Let me wait. Oh, I lost you there.
Right. I'm like, am I frozen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think we're good. We're good. So what was I saying?
you were we were talking about the sevens. I can't even remember. I'm having a senior moment here. I'm sorry.
Me too. That's why I asked you. I'm like, maybe you remember. So, something about the sevens. All right, move on. Moving on.
All right. What's your most recent cop?
My most recent cop are the cool grade threes because I don't have anything else I've ordered in. So these right here. I walked into Champs at a Rundle Mills. Yeah, they in person. They're nice, like in photos, but they're really nice in person. I really like the tongue. You know that I really like this. So I saw these in person after I decided to pass on them, and I was heated. And so when I walked into Champs and I saw them just sitting there in my size, man, just the fact that I could walk into a store and get them, I was just
It's like back in the day.
right. I'm like, and then it reminded me that that I feel like the Jordan hype is starting to pick up again, and that concerns me.
Yeah.
I thought we were done.
I still feel like this though. I still feel like with retros, if it requires niggas to think too much as far as like dressing them up, they won't sell. If they're not primary colors, if they're not white, black, and red, white and blue, blue and black, think about it. Anytime you normally have a retro that you really got to put thought into dressing, like a Denim 6. That was a great shoe. But
it was.
Niggas didn't know how to dress. They couldn't do it.
That was a great shoe for customization, I feel. I could see those being difficult to wear, especially if you don't have denim, like the clash of denim. So I get it. But you're right. But these right here, I feel like they're great.
Yeah. But see, I'm gonna tell you this, and this is another theory I have. We've been going through a lot of things. Really feel like the hood fucks with ones and threes.
Right.
The only three I feel like you see in the hood, you might see a nigga with the UNCs, or you'll see a nigga with some black cements that's older that might be good. But most of the time, threes are the same customer that buys Jordan 1 highs. To me, that customer same, but because people are like, nah, I'm like, man, the hood doesn't fuck with ones.
They messing with these mids though. I see everybody's son in a pair of mids.
And that's new. That hasn't always been that way though.
That is true because they used to sit. Like I got metallics from the outlet, navy metallics from the outlet, so they used to sit.
Yeah, like I really, maybe the last 2 years it's changed, but ones and threes, yeah. I mean, if it's not an old dude or an actual sneakerhead that's just in the hood, nah. Where the Griffey's at? Where 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Where they at? Where the Barclays at?
You're right.
Where the
You're
pennies.
right.
Phones.
The pennies, yes,
Yeah.
and
But
phones.
hmm and see, to me, even with the pennies, it's really only the ones, the penny one or the phone posit. Those are the only two that I feel like I see, going into hood. Like nobody fucked with the penny twos the last time, at least in Cleveland.
No, no, no. Or the threes.
Yeah, like that three is only at House of Hoops. I've only seen it at House of Hoops.
Hmm.
So,
With phones though, phones
but
they definitely there. If you're talking
um,
about outlandish colorways for the hood, definitely phone posits.
outlandish. I like that.
I mean, I the things they've been putting on phones lately, like that cracked lizard, whatever that is. It's like red cracked lava. I don't know what it is.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I actually own those, but it's only because I saw them at a Nike outlet for $70.
Okay, I'd buy them for that. I'd buy them for
You
that.
know, they were $69.99. It was my birthday. I was at Grove City in Pennsylvania, so I'm like, man, I'm never gonna see these foams. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I hadn't bought a pair of foams since those all lime green ones that they just brought back.
The
That was the
Volts.
last foam I bought.
When did the Volts release? Was that
14.
was it 14? It was that long ago?
Yeah, it was holiday 14. I just remember because we had just opened next Coventry had moved, and it was the first phone posit that I had there, and I only got it because we were doing buy one get one free, and I needed another shoe that was over $200 in order to get, because it was those and the Command Forces, and I didn't want
Good.
200 for the Command Force without getting the sale.
Got you.
That's why I got them.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
But yeah,
Okay. I mean, the Volts look nice. I didn't expect those to sell out. So I'm like,
they sold
is
out.
foam hype? I feel like the Volts sold out.
You can get a pair of dead
But
stock online for $100. Like
I feel like, so, okay, I feel like Nike is doing this thing where they make it look like it's sold out just to bring it back.
I
So,
I agree with you. I also feel like they do tester shoes. I feel like they'll come out with a shoe to see if another shoe is gonna sell.
oh, I get that. I could get that. Okay.
Like for instance, since these sold out, I bet
Hmm.
you it's 6 months after they've done all of them. They'll bring back the Stab or the Span or a similar shoe to that to see if it
Oh,
sells.
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I can see the air stab for sure.
Because they pull those out when they want to, but it's tester shoes like you know what the Air Unlimited is, right?
The Air Unlimited, Air Unlimited.
It's like the basketball
Hmm.
carnival.
Okay, yes, yes, yes.
Like, all right, they pumped those out 2016. I feel like if
Hmm.
those would have blew out, we'd have seen a carnivore retro by now.
Okay.
Because the same thing happened with the Griffies and the Nomos. The Griffies was
Right.
hot, and then we saw the Nomo. It's like, well, it's got the same midsole. Let's come out with
Hmm.
it.
They
And then
retro everything Griffey. They retroed the twos, then they retroed what's the pair? The Diamond Fury.
yeah, those they brought out the Griffey 4, called it the Griffey 99.
You're right. Hmm.
The Griffey
Those
6
didn't do well.
called it the GD2, some shit, but it still said
Sorry, those didn't do well.
shoe. Yeah, I really feel like they do that. I feel like they do tester shoes, you know. But I do have to ask, how do your family and friends that aren't sneakerheads feel about you being in this life?
Okay, so when I first got into it, it was kind of like when are you gonna grow up and grow out of this type of thing? But I feel like lately I've had friends who, especially like, well, I've had like, women friends who are now into sneakers, where like, years before they were just really into heels or whatever it was they were wearing.
To
And I'm
let out
like,
pumps.
right, exactly, exactly. And so, I mean, I think it's a good thing to see more women, into sneakers and talking to them. Like, I'm like, why all of a sudden you gave me so much for wearing sneakers like 5 years ago? Now you over here asking me, oh, where can I get some ones? So I'm like, what's happening? What's
Let 'em.
happening? And it seems like there's this thing, where like sneakers are supposed to be for like men, like basketball shoes are supposed to be for men, and then heels, I guess, are supposed to be for women. And I'm glad that I'm seeing that kind of disappear, where because it's not that these women didn't want to wear sneakers. I think they just felt like they didn't have permission to for some reason because they were in the men's section.
Yeah.
Um, so I think so now I'm seeing a lot more acceptance, I guess, and support for my sneaker collection because now it's a little bit more mainstream. It's a little bit more acceptable. But when I first started out, they were like, "When are you gonna stop buying sneakers?" I'm like, "I don't know. I can't really give you a number." They're like, "Why do
Yeah.
you need all of these?" I remember I bought myself the cool gray 11s for Christmas. Like, had to gift myself what I wanted, you know? They're like, "Nah, take this Bath and Body Works." I'm like, "No, you take that. Give me money so I can go get my cool gray 11s." I wrapped it up, put it under the tree for myself. So I get a lot more support now.
Good. Good.
Yeah. And now I still kind of cut my eyes at them like, now all of a sudden you want some up tempos for real. But it's cool. I'm working on that, working through my issues. I'm not trying to be an elitist. No, I do think it's great that a lot more women are embracing sneakers and they're comfortable and they're cute and they're doing a lot of things fashion wise with them. So I'm for it.
Okay. Now, does that carry over to your significant other as well?
I do not have one right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But when I did, no, definitely against it. I mean, until I sold a big chunk of my collection to put a down payment on a house. Then it's like, I get it now. It's like, okay, I told you they have value, they're worth something. And I think I should just lead with that. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know you just see sneakers, but like these have value. It's not like, some of these wigs people have, hanging up. I mean,
Yeah.
do they resell wigs? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they do. I mean, there's a market for everything. There's a market for everything.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, hell, like we were just talking. I mean, people are beating up brand new shoes to try to make it look like my old shit. You know what I mean? So,
Right, exactly. And they're selling it for more.
oh man, man, this is great. This is great. I've been a fan of yours for so long, and again, I feel silly because I really thought we met, but it was just a phone order. But I know that we spoke. You know what I mean? So we
We
did.
definitely did. We definitely had some transactions. Like this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. I was actually thinking about how you started up your YouTube page again and everything and how you're doing these. And I was gonna reach out to you literally and be like, hey, can we like chat? Can we do this? And you reached out to me. So I feel like this was meant to be and I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. The thing I want to do, and if somebody out there can help me, I really would like to take these conversations and put them on my YouTube page without having to screenshot them because it's an hour and a half long. I can't sit there for an hour and a half and screen record it. So I haven't figured that out yet. But, if I ever do, I'll reach out and be like, it's okay if I put this on my YouTube, so.
Or you could do it through Zoom, but then how would you post it on Instagram? So, it's
Yeah. So
the
right now,
whole thing.
it's going to be an Instagram exclusive thing.
I get it. I get it.
I appreciate you so much for being on here, and I definitely I'm a big fan of your collection. So thank you for joining me.
No. I thank you. Thank you for asking me. Like I said, I'm in awe of your collection. You were one of the first people I followed when I joined Instagram. So this is amazing.
Well, cool. Well, I will definitely be in touch. We're definitely gonna do this again if that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to do this again.
All right.
I'm looking at these comments. Like,
I really feel
yo,
bad about the people. Like I never interact with them, and I don't mean to not interact with them, but I'm just talking to you. You know what I mean? So I've been looking forward to this too.
oh man. Somebody said denim goes with everything. They said the kids wear mids because they play shoes. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Wow. No.
and they're
I hope
cheaper
they
than
don't sell wigs. Right? I mean, I get it. I get it for the mids. I would buy mids for kids for sure. I
I
mean,
mean,
they're pretty much made out of plastic.
yeah, my son is 12. He loves the mids. I mean, he don't even, he has the breads and the Chicago's, and it's like having a real, pair or whatever. So,
Is it? No.
well,
Okay, let me let me not. Let me not.
yeah. Well, he's 12, so he just getting into it. So, you know, but
I like.
yeah.
All right.
No, what was you gonna say? My bad.
No, I like mids for the way that people are using them. It's like an everyday shoe. There's even though there was like a mid height for a second, I guess because of the ones. because of
The
the
blue,
highs.
the blue, the great, and the melody of Shawnee's kind of manufactured that fearless pack.
Right, right. With the watch on the
We ain't got. Now,
label.
I'll ask you how you feel about bids. You know what I'm saying? Tell me how you feel about the bids before we go.
I feel like they're an affordable alternative. Quality wise, I don't like mids because of the quality. They crease like paper. Um,
That's
you
fair.
know, but for the price and for the function of it, you know, I'm not against mids. I would never like, turn my nose up at anybody wearing mids. Do I own any? No. They have some good colorways, but just the quality of them, just they look uncomfortable. They remind me of those the Chicago ones that released in, was it 2012?
13 at the very beginning of
It was
13,
13. It was 13. Okay, yeah, those. They remind me of those
and
because those were mids.
that was insulting because they came out the same day as those mellow ones, the ones that were like Nick's colored.
Right.
Were made great. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how could you make these this and then make these?
They were trying something. They were trying something.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I guess.
Somebody said Chucks for this generation. Really? Yeah.
Well, do you own any Converse?
I do. I've owned several Converse over the years, but the only pair I have left are these.
The mystery machines. You had
Yeah, I
Chuck's
had to.
mystery machines.
Yeah, I had to. The
Hickory.
execution on these, just amazing. Oh wait, no, I have another pair. I have the ah, correct me if I'm wrong. They're like Chuck Pro LX or something like that. They kind of look like a boot, and they're
Ah,
in this. Yeah, they're super comfortable, and they're like this kind of weird metallic brownish purplish color.
I'll be looking. Well, it's about to be hot now, so I'll be looking in the fall for you to post those.
Actually, I wrote an article for Thick Laces, so they're like a sneaker blog for plus size women sneakerheads, and that was one of the pickups. I wrote a story about how like losing constantly on sneakers, how those L's have made me explore other brands or get back to exploring other brands. So I was kind of thanking Nike for all the L's. So now I can diversify my collection. So yeah.
I have. What are those little
Hmm.
12s in the background and those other shoes there? What is?
These,
Are those IDs
yeah, these are Nike IDs. I love Nike IDs.
made
Like
like?
I feel like Nike ID is underutilized. And they kind of has like an Air Mag kind
Oh,
of vibe, Back to the Future vibe to them. So yeah.
I'm all about Nike ID. That's been the best part of being a Converse employee is having that
Nice.
available to me. But those are all.
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
about.
these yeah, when I can't get a shoe, I'll try to make it on ID. So this is like my Mars Yard Pendleton Air Max one because I can't get a actual pair. So
How many
these are like my beaters.
how many IDs do you have?
Right now, I don't have that many. I have one, two, three, four, five. Only five IDs right now. That seems short. And I
That's
have like I used to have more, but I don't know what happened to. Probably
ugh,
sold them.
ugh.
But these are my favorite. These are my favorite. I show these every Air Max month, every Air Max day. These are my favorite. These 90s, and I wish they would bring these options back because like I love these. These are my favorites. Um,
Yeah, we could just end the show now. I'm all down here. Too much. I mean, those what when did you make those? Those are awesome.
I want to say these. I made these in either 2013 or 2014. Let me see if they have a date on them. These got to be like 2014. No, 15. I made these in 2015. Okay, 2015.
Yeah, the 90
So
is probably the only Air Max I haven't ID'd yet.
really,
Yeah, I don't really. My wife,
I
if she,
suck.
she was down, she would be like, "You don't even fuck with 90s," because for a while I didn't. Like, they're crazy narrow. I have a lot now. Like, I've probably got about 15 or so, but at
Okay.
least 5 or 6 of them are like older ones that just kind of like the corks, stuff from Coventry and like before. But I have way more ones, 95s, and 98s. I don't really have a lot of 97s either. I like the 98 better.
I don't have any 98s. I want the team orange 98s. And I slept on them. I slept on them.
Yeah.
That's another pair that got away.
The 90 also, because I'll be honest, I'm not trying to stunt any kind of way, and I mean you know we go back a little bit. At least 6 pairs of the 90s I have are still dead stock. Like I don't
Okay.
like I have those all black ones that had the animal prints on them from last year. I found those at the outlet when we moved down
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Um, I haven't worn my OG pink ones, the infrared, but it's pink, the teal
Mm-hmm.
ones, and like 3 other pairs I bought from Foot Locker before we moved down here, before I quit, that were like, when we had the 50, they were already
Mm-hmm.
50, they were like $25.
Okay.
So shit like that. Like I just, if I'm wearing a 90, I'm just thinking of infrared. That's the only one that I really fuck with.
I mean, really, that's the main staple. And I don't even own a pair of those. I used to. I used to. I think I think there was a pair that dropped in, was it 2010? Did they drop a pair in 2010?
They did. They had a
Did
pair.
they really drop them that often?
Yeah, that's why it was crazy to me that they still would go for money, because the same thing with the 95 until the last release in 2015. Before this last one, I mean, they would come out with the 95 every couple of years, you know. Whereas one of the shoes,
True.
if you don't have it, it's because you don't want it. So,
True.
so
True.
yeah,
Do I have any 95s? I used to. I used to. I used to have them.
yeah. I mean, that was that was the last shoe I ID'd. I ID'd an Air Force One and an Air Max 95 for my 40th birthday in December, and they were both
Okay.
like colored. And I could do more with the 95 because it was an ID, but it was unlocked. You know, what I mean,
Okay.
it's they don't even have any shoes unlocked now, so I'm just waiting until they bring that back, because you know the regular Nike by you can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? You ain't making nothing like them 90s that you got there. So
They have some good options up right now, I feel like, for the 95, where they have like Croc or something.
yeah,
There's this green pair I have sitting in my cart. And one day I will pull the trigger. I probably won't. I don't know. And then they have some good options, I think, for the 90. They have like ostrich leather and crocodile or whatever. Like if you want to make like a more luxurious pair. I mean, but the color options are kind of whack. I think that's it. The color options, they don't pop. I like on my ID for there to be some type of pop of color.
yeah,
So,
you can't go buy in the store. You know what I mean? Something that you know.
right.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. Oh man. All right. Well, look. Before we go,
Okay.
what's the next shoe you plan on buying?
Ooh, the next shoe I plan on buying. That's hard because I'll try to go buy something that I wanted back in the day. I'm trying to think.
Well, it could be that too. It doesn't have to be a new release.
I feel like I still have shoes coming in. What's the next shoe that I want? There's something that's dropping. I don't know why it is escaping me. You know what? I think I already bought it. It was the Air 2 Max, the celery or the what are they calling it? I
Took an
got
L on
those.
them.
Really?
Yes.
Ah,
I've been able to get nothing, man. I mean, my wife won them clots. I haven't won nothing. The last thing I won was the Bruce Lee Kobe's, the Kobe 5. And that was in November.
the last time up until the clots and these in the Air 2 Max, it was since October. I think I got like Indigo 12s or something like that, which I sent back,
Yeah. For me, it was
which I
it
should
was
have
the
kept.
it's a fake obsidian. Why can't you just bring back the obsidians? Gosh.
Because they just like what they're doing with the Stealth Fives. It's like why couldn't you just bring them back in like the way they were?
I took an L on them. Not the new release, but the fact that my pair from '06 crumbled during the move. I lost a lot of shoes during this move. You know what I mean, too. So, you know, my olive fives, those crumbled, you know what I mean? But stuff like
Ooh.
bring myself to throw it away. Because I'm like, man, one day I might learn how to soul swap and then it'll be on.
I mean, you could probably send them to somebody. I don't know to have. Yeah, teach yourself how to soul swap. That's the way to do it.
It's
Oh,
been
that's sad.
the last last 8-9 months has been tough. It's been tough for me.
That's why I like sevens. That's why I
Yeah,
like sevens.
for me, it's probably. I mean, I'm still heavy on my Converse shit because everybody who works there wears, basically just wears Chucks. So I'm trying to come with weapons. I'm trying to wear old Wades. I'm trying to, to
Mm-hmm.
be so. I'm trying to come different. But other than that, I mean, I'm gonna try to get these red fives because I never had the original Raging Bulls. But
There we go. That's
take
it. I knew there was something. Yeah, I'm going for those. I don't know if I'll get them, but I'm going for those.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. I got the green ones. I haven't even worn those yet. I still don't know what to do with them. I don't want to wear Oregon stuff because that'll make the outfit too literal. You know what I mean? But the purple ones, they don't match anything. I have purple, so I need these red ones to complete the trifecta.
Yeah, I feel like you can wear those with anything. I feel like, it's like a nice pop of color. I feel like red shoe, you could just, yeah.
So you wear a lot of black though.
I I do. I do. Like I'll throw on like a black shirt and some jeans and then whatever shoe I want. So yeah, I'm all about that. Or I'll do something where like I'll match like my hat with my shoes and I can wear whatever in the middle. I'm like I'm matching now because the hat.
Not to
Just
mention
wear a red hat.
sneaker. Sneakery. Mm-mm-mm. Oh man, look, I really appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna be DMing you, asking you what you get, what you got, what I'm saying. So I'm definitely gonna be bothering you, what's up? So
I'll be posting it. I'll post it. If I get a good shot, got good lighting, I'll post it for sure. But yeah, this is dope. This has been dope. Man, I've been waiting to talk sneakers with somebody. It's hard to find somebody to talk sneakers with.
yeah, well, we're gonna do this again. I promise.
All right. All right. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right. Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go. You take
All
care, and
right,
I'll
you
be.
too.
All right. Peace. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Peace.